Hello, good afternoon. This is Rob Costa for CardGameExpert.com, and today I will be playing some Blue Moon. I love Blue Moon. This is the deck I've played the most. My first 5-0 with this is 7 years ago at this point, so I know the archetype really well. With that being said, this is a pretty basic build mostly. I play Thing in the Ice as my win condition. It's just been proven over the years to me that it's the best win condition. We have some Snapcaster Mages, Spell Snare, Serum Vicious Opt, Bolt, Force of Negation, Ice Mage's Charm, Blood Moon, Bone Crusher Giant, Cryptic Command. This is all pretty standard. However, I do have some Relic of Progenitors in the main because Uro is a thing and I want to have a graveyard deck matchup. For the rest, yeah, we're running 18 lands. Wait, what? 18 lands? Yeah, we're running 4 Silundi Vision. I tried this in a test game just to see if this was any good at all. And I just dropped the match and added 4 of them. I was like, this is insane. I need to play 4 of these. So I'm playing 4 of these because they are absolutely nuts. You'll just see in the games, they are insane. So yeah, definitely a very good card here. I also have a River Glide Pathway. I just wanted to try this out. This deck has a problem with getting enough red, which is quite ironic, but you're basically just a blue deck splashing Blood Moon. So just wanted some more red sources. For the rest, yeah, pretty standard here. Sideboard's also pretty standard. See, we have Dragon's Claw, we have Abrade, we have Anger, we have Surgical, Aether Ghost, and Mystical Dispute. We have 3 Cleansing Wildfire. I know that this is something that just rubs the wrong way with Blood Moon. These two are not friends of each other. Because the Cleansing... come on. Show me the Blood Moon. Show me Blood Moon. Come on. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Cleansing Wildfire and Blood Moon just don't get along great. But Blood Moon is a card that's sometimes just dead. And Cleansing Wildfire can actually really put a lot of pressure on your opponent's basics as well. So I want to try both of them. I think both of them are very good. I do think the deck will end up just picking one or the other. But I just wanted to try both. See how bad it is that there's a lot of tension there. With that being said, if you want to try the deck for yourself, there's a MANATRADERS link in the description below. Use it with the coupon code that's mentioned for a discount. And let's go. So for our first match, we have a 3 lands with 2 Silundi Vision. So immediately very happy that I added those. Otherwise this would have been a 5-lander. We are against someone playing Shrieking Affliction into Smallpox, either known as well as playing against 8-Rack. 8-Rack should be a very, very good matchup for this deck. The whole point for them is to make sure we don't have cards, and our whole entire career is based on having as many cards as we possibly can. In the meanwhile, they Fatal Push our Thing in the Ice and they play Liliana, Waker of the Dead. I did not know they were playing that one. We respond with the Silundi Visions, see if we can get a Force of Negation out of it. So our land drop just got us a Force of Negation, which is really sweet. We play another one, don't find the second one for the second Liliana. They play so many Lilianas this game, it's insane. Anyway, Snapcaster Mage for us at the end of turn. Put the Relic on top, just to make sure that we can draw some cards. Ice Mage's Charm at the end of turn. We draw some cards, get some Bone Crushers in our hands. Yeah, we go through this game very, very fast. Mostly because all that happens is just they discard a card, they discard a card, they discard a card. It's not the most interesting game on the face of the earth. I'm surprised that they run the Liliana though, but I can see it being good. However, at this point, we are just being killed by Shrieking Affliction triggers, so yeah, that's that. Yeah, we sideboard out the Relics and the Bolt and get Abrade and Mystical Dispute in there. We join on turn 2, where they play Shrieking Affliction. We respond with an Opt. They play an Inquisition of Kozilek. We top the Silundi Vision out of the Opt while the Inquisition resolves. They play at the Rack and they obviously name us. Why would they should have named themselves? Anyway, we counter the Range Might with the Mystical Dispute. So even though it's not a blue spell, we can still just counter it. They play a Delirium Skeins here, which makes everyone discard 3 cards. And in response, we take the Shrieking Affliction, so we get to steal it. And now they are dying to their own Shrieking Affliction, which is great. This is just good fun. Like, when you want to make me die to not having cards, you can go, well, yeah, die yourself. We counter a Mystical Dispute here because that way we get to choose which card we discard basically, and we end of turn make sure we draw some more cards. And now at this point this game is very much over. We are just drawing a ton of cards, and yeah, we end of turn Bone Crusher Giant while we stomp, and then we play the Bone Crusher Giant, and now we're just going to beat face mostly, but they just concede anyway. So we go to game 3, sideboard out the Bolt and the Blood Moons. They play Shrieking Affliction into the Rack. Then they Raven's Cry Moss. I discard the Cryptic Command because it's just going to be the hardest card to keep in hand for so long. And yeah, they range mined us, and we discard 2 more cards, and we play a Stomp at the end of turn, mostly to get the Bone Crusher Giant out of our hand for Inquisition. Yeah, so the rack triggers, we take some damage, then we play a Bone Crusher Giant after having... We've stolen the Shrieking Affliction again, by the way, just so they make sure... Just so they can die on their own triggers again. But they top deck a Liliana of the Veil, and that just basically wins them the game on the spot, which is quite insane. And here I go and kill my own lands to filter them out of my deck while drawing more cards. And they draw another Liliana. They had no cards in hand. And they just went Liliana, Shrieking Affliction. It's so insane. That draws are very good. I very much misplayed a few times in this matchup as well. Mostly, let's see, is it now? No, I misplayed and I lost that game. That's basically what it boils down to. Serum Visions for us for the second match. Bottom the land, keep the Serum Visions. They play Thalia, Guardian of Trayman. So at this point, I first thought they were on humans, but I saw the Field of Ruins, so that's making me think they're not on humans. They play Giver of Runes, and I draw 2 cards with an Archmage's Charm. And then I Serum Visions on my own turn, putting a Spell Snare and an Opt on the bottom. They play another Giver of Runes. Yeah, so they attack with the Giver, which is really greedy. If I had a Bolt, I could just kill everything now. But that does indicate to me that with the Aether Vial on 3, they probably have Flicker Wisp. So I just decide to lure it out. I want to play the Blood Moon just to make sure that they can Flicker Wisp it away. So I can get them to like put the Flicker Wisp in play, give them a reason to do it mostly. However, they end up not having Flicker Wisp, but Skyclave Apparition, which is a card I did not know existed, but apparently it's really good. So yeah, I'm just getting kind of owned by cards I didn't know existed, which sucks. It happens. It's just a thing. And now I'm just getting beaten down by an equipment that I didn't see coming, and a Skyclave Apparition that I honestly didn't even know was printed. So yeah, that just sucks, you know. So now we're just in a race. I play a Silundi Vision. I should say Silundi. Vision at the end of turn and find an Archmage's Charm, and I try to take control of the Aether Vial here to make sure that they have to play on sorcery speed again, so I can use my counter spells. I want to utilize as much of my deck as possible, and that's mostly done by just forcing them into the counter spells. However, they did actually have that Flicker Wisp as well, so they get to blink it, and then they just start beating my face in. Mostly I try to salvage it a bit with some cryptic commands and Snapcaster Mage for a cryptic command, and I take an Archmage's Charm. My apologies. I try to take the Giver of Runes here. However, they end up just about to exiling it to ramp themselves for another land. Yeah, Thalia of Trayman comes into play of the Aether Vial. And now they're just attacking with a 5-3 Flicker Wisp, and I have nothing that can stop it. So on to the next game. Force of Negation, a Mana Leak out for Anger of the Gods. Let's see, we have a 2-lander. They end up playing a Buranton Forge Tender on turn 1. I top deck a Silundi Vision here, and I play as a land this time. And then they play a Stoneforge Mystic, which gets them a Sword of Fire and Ice, which is fine. I have a Bolt and a Braid. That shouldn't be a problem. So at the end of that turn 3, I Archmage's Charm for 2 cards. And again, I just draw spells now, which is not really a thing in this matchup. I know I should have... I just didn't have enough to board out. Like, I want to board out the Blood Moons, and I want to board out all the Mana Leaks, and I just want to board out so much stuff that I just didn't have enough to board out the Spell Snare as well. Yeah, definitely not a list that's very prepared for this matchup. So anyway, they blink their Stoneforge Mystic with a Flicker Wisp, and then they get a Battle Scar with it, and now I'm just trying to bolt the Flicker Wisp and just... Yeah, bolt it again, trying to make a spot where I can do Anger of the Gods and actually kill their creatures. However, it's not really happening as they have a second Buranton Forge Tender, and in the meanwhile, yeah, my Thing in the Eye starts triggering, but Anger of the Gods is on the stack, and now they just put a Battle Skull in play in response to my Anger of the Gods, and everything is just miserable now. Now there's a Battle Skull in play, they are actually putting more creatures into play in the Leonin Arbiter. And yeah, they're attacking for 6. We're down to 2. And at this point, I feel like I'm just dead. I do, however, opt into Thing in the Eyes, play it. And then they make a mistake here. They give their Leonin Arbiter protection from blue so it can attack. So in response, I abrade it with the Snapcaster Mage trigger. And now I can use the Snapcaster Mage to block the Battle Skull to stay alive. Whereas if they had just waited on giving protection, I would be forced to just double jump. So they lost a creature there, and now I'm just trying to trigger my own Awoken Horror, because they part to exile it and to make sure that they can attack. However, I just flip it using my own counter spells to counter my own counter spells, so I can flip the thing, stay alive, Archmage's Charm, draw more cards. But I'm just not. I'm having so much trouble with this Battle Skull. It's just absolutely wrecking me. Yeah, forced to block here again, and I'm trying to stay in this game. This time I have 2 lightning bolts and a thing in the ice, so I'm just playing the thing in the ice. In response to a Burnt and Forge Tender, I have to lightning bolt the Battle Skull token, well, the Germ token, because if I don't, they can just save it, sacrificing the Battle Skull, and my thing in the ice has to block. And I really want to flip this thing. I need to flip thing in the ice. If I don't, I cannot win this game. I end up drawing another Archmage's Charm. I love that card so much. And now I get the last counter of my Awoken Horror using Anger of the Gods. So my Awoken Horror actually saves all their creatures, which is really miserable. They just replayed that 3 creatures, and I'm just attacking in with the Awoken Horror again and again. So I've had 2 hits connected at this point, and they're at 18. So I'm actually really crawling back into this game, while I had definitely thought I had lost. So I'm very happy to see this happen. So Silundi Vision, hit a spells, hit a Serum Visions, and I see a Cryptic Command of the Serum Visions. I definitely need that. So what I'm doing now is just buying time. Silundi Vision, get Cryptic Command again. We've tapped our creatures 3 or 4 times now at this point, and they're at 8. So I'm after all of that, I am 1 damage short, just actual 1 damage short, and I am just dealing the 1 damage to myself and killing myself. So for the third match, we have a Utopia Sprawl out of our opponent, as I play a land and a relic. Then they play a Conclave Mentor, which is not a card I expected at all in Modern. Then I play a thing in the ice, and and they play a Spike Feeder. And these kind of matchups where people are just trying to play like a 2-2 and a 3-3 are just, that's just massacres. There's no other word for it. It's just like, I'm gonna kill your board no matter what. And just look at what happens here. The Spike Feeder happens, keeps triggering, and then they end up putting the counter on the creature, and I just kill it anyway. Like, get rid of all of it. I don't care. So all of their things are for naught, and they just concede to it. That's just the game. They lost the thing in the ice and 2 lightning bolts. That's all that happened there. This match, I think if I don't sideboard, I'm still favored in the matchup, but it's just such a good matchup this. So they end up playing a Utopia Sprawl again, and they play a Ranger Captain of Eos that I totally forgot to show the thing for, the card in the preview screen. It'll be up in just a second. Archmage's Charm for us, and we draw some cards. And we get we bottomed the Archmage's Charm, draw a card of the Opt, I'm sorry. There's the Ranger Captain in the field, and now they found a Walking Ballista with the Ranger, by the way, and then the Heliod goes on the stack, and I mana leak it. They attack for 3, and I play a thing in the ice, and they're just like, I'm so out of this. And it's a lot of silence, and then a concession. So some decks just can't feed a thing in the ice. Turn 1, we Serum Vision, see 2 non-lands, so decide to bottom both of those. They play a Utopia Sprawl again, and then a Renin 6. So, gonna go ahead and relic away that land over there, so they can't get it. Then I play a thing in the ice, and just hope to get a red source. I don't get it. And here I make a very, very crucial mistake. I had not realized which deck my opponent is on. I saw some Yorion Renin 6. I was like, this is some sort of value pile. So I just tapped out, which is, they just cost me the game on the spot. They play a Nif Mizzet. They draw like 5 cards off of it, and then they just start attacking me for 6, and I can't beat the 6/6. I have a problem with the fairy. Well, everybody should have a problem with the fairy. But so the fairy gets forced, then the assassins trophy me, and I have nothing. I can't beat the 6/6. I can't beat anything that's going on here. So I bought in like half my sideboard here. Cleansing Wildfire, Aether Gust into it, and then on their second turn they end up playing an Uro Titan of Nature's Wrath, and this is very crucial. They don't put a land into play out of this, of the Uro, so I just know that they don't have land drops, and with that being known information, I just decide to just go in, find my 4th land drops, and using a Snapcaster Mage to get an Opt back, use the Opt to find land destruction. And I actually decide not to go for the Cleansing. Wow, do I? Do I not? I don't know. No, I don't. I bottom this. So I end up playing a Silundi Vision as a land instead, and then I just start bouncing their lands with Cryptic Command. Just get rid of it, get rid of it. And they actually have to discard to hand size now while I'm just making value. This is another card where I'm like, yeah, just gonna go ahead and bounce that. It's costing them an enchantment every time. It stops their mana fixing. It's turn 7. They're on 2 lands. And then I play a Blood Moon against their 5 color deck. And they end up actually Force of Negationing me. And I Mystical Dispute back. I did not know they ran Force of Negation. So good for me that I had the Mystical Dispute. And then I just play a Bonecrusher Giant. Yeah, I stomp end of turn, then play it. And I'm just attacking him for 4 here every turn. Just, they start attack. Is that me? Yeah, land destruction happens. Doesn't matter at all. They end up Assassin's Trophying my Bonecrusher Giant. And they're going to 5. And then I'm just going to go ahead and draw another Bonecrusher Giant off an Archmage's Charm. That puts them to 3. And I attack. And they're to -1. For the third game, we have a bunch of counter spells. Yeah, and the Silundi Visions just make the lands and the hands so great. I could have kept this with one less hand. I could have kept it with one more land as well. Silundi Vision just solves so much. It smooths so much. We're just drawing a bunch of cards. Thing in the Ice goes onto the battlefield. They attack my... I Cleansing Wildfire there. It's so annoying that because of these new cards, everybody is playing the same cards. The format is definitely homogenizing quite a bit. Just every deck you see the same new cards, which is, it's something. I wrote an article about it. Anyway, Kaya's God happens for them. This time I don't fall for it and I just let everything resolve. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna go for the Niv Mizzet trick again. They've put their Yorion into their hand, by the way, on turn 3. So I end up just killing the Snapcaster Mage here with a Stomp. And then I Silundi Vision again, finding a Serum Vision. Serum Vision goes to my hand. And now I can just go in and attack. No. They're just... No, I'm saying it correct. Yeah, they Chaos Goblet, I Mana Leak it because I have another Mana Leak open as well. And then they play an Omnat, Destroyer of Standard. Because, this card just destroyed Standard. That format is like the bubonic plague right now. Stay away from it. Blood Moon goes to the bottom for us, and then we find an Aether Gust out of our Silundi Vision. They play a Yorion, so I decide to Mana Leak it because I don't want them to have anything at all ever. Fun can only be had by one person after all. And then I decide to play a Blood Moon. It doesn't really matter. It shuts off them playing Niv Mizzet with Veil of Summer backup, but for the rest they have every color. And then I get really lucky. I just top deck a Mystical Dispute and I get to counter the Omnat, but because that might have actually won them the game. And then I just get really lucky again. Top deck a Snapcaster Mage out of nothing and just counter target spell, return target permanent on the Cryptic Command, counter the Clothes and return the Snapcaster Mage to my hand. And now I'm just making so much value. So Snapcaster Mage back to my hand. Snapcaster Mage happens again, targeting up this time, just making sure that I draw more cards, get more card selection going. They're at 5. I see a Mana Leak. I'm gonna bottom it. They have 8 lands at this point. I see a Blood Moon. Don't care. Attack with Snapcaster Mage. In response to a Teferi on them, I just play the second Snapcaster Mage. And that's just nothing they can do. There's no cards at all that can save them here. So for our last match, well, I can be very brief. We played a tap land on turn 2. And they were playing 8-wack. So we died. That's literally all that happened. And so we sideboard, Relic, Force, Blood Moon out. It's just too slow. All of it's just way too slow. Game 2, kind of the same thing. We try and do some stuff, but we just end up getting murdered before we find out the second red land. So after playing those games, as I said, the Silundi Visions are insane. Yeah, that's just how this works. It's a land that is a spell that sees 6 of your cards that you can flash back with Snapcaster Mage, or you can bounce with Cryptic Command to get that rolling again. It's just absolutely nuts. For the rest, I got 5 cards out of this. It's the 2 Spell Snares are gone, the 3 Relic of Progenitors are gone. To the sideboard, so we have the relics in here. So we have an 18 card sideboard now, so we have to fiddle something. Or we could just cheat, just cheat. Who cares? Just cheat 18 card sideboard. Nobody will notice on Magic Online. Anyway, so the spell snares are gone. I thought they were pretty bad. I might be convinced that Cryptic Command is just too expensive for Veil of Summer Modern. For the rest, this deck's very good. I love this deck. I've been playing this deck for like 7 or 8 years at this point. I had my first 5-0 with it in, I believe, 2014. I'm not sure, 2014 or 15. You should have to Google. You should Google my username to find that. It should be out there somewhere. But it's a list with like battle scars and stuff. So I've been playing this deck for a very long time. I love this deck. This deck is great. It had a great Splinter Twin matchup back in the day. Anyway, yeah, you should run 4 of these. They are fantastic. Just play 4 of them. I don't care what your opinions are. Just play 4 of them. Whatever you're saying about this card, you're wrong. You should play 4. With that being said, if you want to try the deck for yourself, there's a link in the description down below for MANATRADERS. You can use the coupon code to get a small discount. Definitely try this one out. The matches were insane. The league was insane. I had a ton of fun with this. There was some frustration. There was love. There was some hurt. And yeah, with that being said, thank you for watching, and bye bye.